Hello, welcome back to my channel. First thing, if you like my content, please subscribe and give me a thumbs up. And if you leave a comment, that would be great. It helped me make better videos for you in the future. I want to start this video by referring back to the first video. It's what I'm doing. I'm starting multiple streams of income. And I talked a little bit about why I was doing it. My wife and I used to be with this financial group at MLM called Primerica. They gave us a lot of financial books and a lot of motivational books. And a lot of the advice was that if you have multiple streams of income, it's kind of like a piston. When one's not working, another one is. And so you keep a steady stream of income coming in. And it's a good thing to have. That way, you know, you always have income coming in. Um, and that's the reason that I'm doing it. In particular, because as I'm growing older and retirement's coming around, it would be a good idea to have something set up that might at some point become more passive, and then I don't have to work as much. That's the idea. But it also came up because of other reasons too, um, that I want to address here in this video. I've had a very good career. I still do, and along the way, I've moved up in my career. I started off as a clerk, as a mailroom clerk back at AC Martin back in the 80s, and I worked my way up to a controller position, which is pretty good. And along the way, I get gotten raises, right? And of course, the title is also very good. But something I've always struggled with is there's a phrase that I heard recently, and it's creeping lifestyle, and it's something that's very common. When people talk about living paycheck to paycheck, you normally think of someone who's not making a lot that can just barely make ends meet. But creeping lifestyle is when you're working and you're doing fine, maybe just getting by, but you're doing okay. Then you all of a sudden get a raise or a new job. And rather than living off of the income from the old job, you move into a bigger apartment, you get a new car, and all of a sudden you're now struggling again like you were before. And you're okay with it because you've got a new car, you've got a better apartment, and you don't think about those things. You're just thinking about how much better you're living, but that stress is always there with you. You're always worrying about that. And so I'm starting the multiple streams of income in part to give myself extra income that'll not go to anything new. There'll be no new car. We just bought a house 2.5 years ago, so there'll be no new house. We'll be staying here for a while. But it's to have that extra income, pay down some debt, and get that income coming in, so that in the future we don't have to worry like we do. Anyway, that term, creeping lifestyle. I read about it recently, and it was very interesting to me. And it's very common. A lot of people struggle with it. I know a lot of times if I'm at a company and we have a new hire, that new hire will come in with a brand new car 90% of the time. And usually it's because when we hired them, they got a boost in their income and they buy themselves a new car. And that's just, and who wouldn't want a new car or drive something that's better than their old car? And there used to be a phrase, keeping up with the Joneses. And then in the 90s, the term became keeping up with the Vanderbilts, because we're just spending so much. You're at a higher economic level and you're just spending and spending and spending. And I wanted to address that here. My wife and I, we're very financially literate. I mean, we know about compound interest, we have investments, um, and all those are very good. And this came to my mind because I remember going to um, a not a retreat, but a meeting with my wife. It was out in, I think, either Watts or Compton. It's a school. The school had conference rooms, and they let the conference rooms. They rented them out, I guess, for people to come in on the weekends and have meetings. And so she met with her nonprofit group there, and across the hall or down the hall, there was another group meeting, and it was a bunch of people, and they were going to be teaching financial literacy to people. This was a low income neighborhood, and the thinking is some of these people are struggling because they just don't know financial literacy. They don't know about Roth IRAs and compound interest and several rules, that there are to save money, how much you should be saving for retirement, how much your budget should be, what percentage of your home, your rent or your mortgage is as part of your income coming in. Usually it's 1/4 to 1/3, and it's gross or net. Um, that's what it should be. And that way, that's where you're living. And here's the phrase, within your means. It's very important. Live within your means. And while we were there, we heard what they were doing, and we thought that's a great idea. And later, one of the young ladies that was with our group said, I hear this going all the time. There are tons of groups in lower income neighborhoods that teach financial literacy, but everyone's still the same. It doesn't make any difference. And my wife does some volunteer work at the beginning of the year doing taxes for people. And she tells me that, one of the things that they do is these are mostly lower income people. They'll do their taxes. They'll get a refund, I don't know, four, five, $6,000, and they will encourage them to open a retirement account, a Roth IRA, an IRA, or something for their children, a 529, something to save. And very often they'll think that's a great idea. And so they'll open the account. A month later, 2 months later, they take all of the money out and they spend it on something. They don't save. And part of that is what I said earlier, creeping lifestyle. That money's just, it's burning a hole in their pocket. They want to spend it. They want to buy a car or fix a car, or they want to move into a nicer place, or they want a new sofa or something for their kids, a bed for their kids. And so they take that money, that windfall, and they spend it. And here's what it comes down to. This is what, in my thinking, what I've come up with on this topic. We all are pretty financially literate. All of us know to live within our means. And most of us know that you put the money somewhere. I mean, everyone's probably known by now, at least in their 20s or 30s, that you can open up a savings or retirement account for just a few dollars, $25, $50 a month, and which is very little, and you can open it. But we don't have a culture that encourages it. Among some ethnic groups, they do have a culture where they put money away, they save it, they live frugally within their means. I remember once hearing about a comedian, Benny Hill, and this is not a different ethnicity, but he had a comedy show and he passed away. He lived alone. He wasn't married or no children. He passed away, heart attack in his home. They found him, and there were uncashed checks on his desk in his office. He would just collect them, and he would, whenever he found the time, he got around to it, he'd go and deposit them, but they weren't urgent. He lived well beneath his means. He could have bought mansions, but he lived in an apartment, one bedroom and an office, just enough for him, right? And that's really what I think a lot of us need to get back to, is living within our means. And that's really hard, especially if you're going to downgrade to live within your means. But it's important that you're not struggling every single month and you have savings. Even if you don't use the savings, it's just nice to have, a couple of $1,000 in case you need to take a trip quickly, or you blow a head gasket in your car, or you need tires, or some emergency that pops up. It's nice to have some cash. And that goes back to the purpose of this YouTube channel and what my goal is. And the goal is multiple streams of income, including this YouTube channel. As I mentioned in one of my previous videos, I've opened my Shopify store. It's called Sophia Raquel Designs. And if you know me, you know it's named after my daughter. Um, and it's not complete. Someone can go there and shop, but there's still more work that needs to be done. Uh, AutoDS filled it with products. Someone can find it there, but now I have to set up the website, which I already started. It's through GoDaddy, and the step that I was on last was making um, Instagram and TikTok commercials. And so now I've got to go back, go to Batty and Business, go to see some of these other uh, dropship coaches and follow them. One of them, eZone, Ecom Zone, he talks about spending about $1,000 on Google Ads. Batty in Business, she's adamant, don't spend money on ads. Go to a TikTok, make your commercials, and then there's a way to promote them and funnel them. My understanding is that TikTok, you can get a lot of views very quickly. They can just go into the millions. And so if that's true, if she's right, and she seems to be pretty good at it, then I might be able to go that route. Now, today is the 9th of December. I've been working on this for about 2 months now. And I've been working at it regularly, although it hasn't been like, full force because I go to work and I come home and sometimes I'm tired. But this takes a while. I mean, I mentioned before how just to post this video, to learn how to post a video, took me a little while. Now I'm going to close this off once I'm done, and I can post it within 15, 20 minutes, pretty fast. I can go to Canva or go to my previous thumbnails, put up a graphic, put on the title, and it's done. I can set it to go in like I said, 15, 20 minutes. Um, but it took me a while to get here. And I've also got some editing software where I can edit, but I like doing these stream of consciousness and just set it all up and go through. Previously, I think I coughed. Um, if I was more concerned, I guess I would go back and edit it and take out that cough. But I'm just going to leave it. I'm not going to worry about going in and editing. I'm just going to post it the way that it is. Anyway, that's where I am. I'm still working on the business, although it's the store's Shopify's up. I'll put the link down below, and I'll put some links also to some of the rules that I mentioned, like the creeping lifestyle, something about that, and Rule of 72, which is compound interest, and maybe a couple of other financial links. Anyway, thanks for watching, and if you like it, give it a thumbs up. Even if you don't like it, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe and leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you.